me a bit about yourself and your family.
I'm a mum to my daughter who's nearly 2, so I get to go to work 3 days a week. And prior to starting Inspired Mumma, I'd actually just taken on a new job, which was a dream opportunity for me, but a big learning curve. So that was something that I knew that I needed help to kind of navigate. My life before Inspired Mumma, I had some health issues, and I knew that they were lifestyle type issues. I got a recent diagnosis of fibromyalgia. So I have some pain that I need to manage, and I just wasn't prioritizing my health. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't eating particularly well, and I knew that was affecting my digestive system, my pain levels, and all of that sort of thing. Yeah, I think I knew that I needed to get healthy, but I just didn't know how to do it, where to start. I couldn't make it happen. I couldn't find the time. I wasn't sleeping. I had a baby that just didn't sleep for 2 years. Yeah, I think I was ready for a change. I started to, make some other changes in my life. I wasn't confident that I could make it all happen.
And so what have you learned about yourself over the last 3 months?
A lot, I guess. I've learned that I can change and that I can make things happen if I want to make things happen. And that was a confidence I didn't have before. I wanted all of these things and wanted to be all of these things, but didn't really think I was ever going to get there. I had the capacity to change anything really significantly.
I remember that very, very first call. I remember you saying to me that you had a lot of ideas and you knew what you wanted, but you weren't taking that necessary action.
Yeah, I felt like I had the knowledge, I know what good nutrition looks like. I know how to be healthy, but I just couldn't put it into practice. I couldn't be consistent with any of it. And I know mindset and yoga and meditation, and I know all of these things, but I just couldn't do it. And I didn't know why, so I just beat myself up about, come on, you know what you need to do. Why aren't you just doing it?
And what's the difference now?
I'm doing it.
You sure are. You're doing it all, Myf. You are doing it all. So tell me, what are you doing now? Talk me through your weekly routine. You're so consistent now. I love it. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, it's crazy thinking about the changes, I guess. I exercise probably 5 days a week now, sometimes twice a day, which when I say it out loud, I'm like, no, I don't. That's not you. I still haven't quite got that self-concept. But then I look at I'm like, oh no, I do a workout in the morning and then I go to Pilates in the evening. That's twice a day. Like, what? But it's, it's a habit now. And so, yeah, it just happens, which is awesome. I didn't tell you this before, but I've had this Post-it note on this thing by my bed, my goals for 2016.
Yes. What does it say?
Exercise 3 times a week. Meditate every day, lose belly fat, drink 2 liters of water, something like that. And every year I look at it and go, oh, I should do some new goals. And then I read it and go, well, they're my same goals. I'll just leave it up.
Just keep the Post-it.
Keep it there. Because it's working, clearly. So I've had the same goals for years. And 2016, that's just when I put the Post-it up. I had the goals a lot before that. That was a big move, putting that Post-it up. And now I exercise 5 days a week, sometimes once. And look, I haven't quite got to the 2 liters of water, but it's getting there. I'm at 1.5.
Oh yeah, but you've come, even that, I remember in the beginning.
I was not even drinking, half a litre.
Yeah, how was the routine when you first started?
I didn't have any. That was the problem. There was no routine, and that's why I just would get stuck and not do anything, because I'd be like, well, do I shower? Do I have breakfast? Do I have a cup of tea? Perhaps I'll just have a cup of tea. Oh, now I've got to make Lyra's breakfast or give her a boob, or it was all about her because it was easy. I knew what I needed to do for her, so I just do that, and then I wouldn't do anything for me. So it'd be lunchtime and I wouldn't have had a shower, eaten anything. And for that entire time in my head, I'm going, you idiot, do this. Why can't you do this? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done this? And so by lunchtime, I was feeling terrible about myself, not having done anything that I needed to actually make myself feel better, and was just in this kind of state. And that was every day. Just took someone sitting me down and doing it step by step, small little changes to get there. And I think where I fell down, and probably where a lot of people fall down, is you think that you have to achieve that nirvana from day one. So, when we sat down and we made that list of, okay, well, ideally, what are all the things that you would like to do? And I'm writing them down thinking, well, I'm never going to have time to do all of that in one day, but let's write it just for shits and gigs, And now I do, and I still am not sure how
I fit it in.
And I think it's about that habit stacking and having it all so you don't have to make the decision every day, but also that you're over, the 3 months that it's been, I've been gradually adding. It's not like on day one, I had to do all of those things.
Yes.
We would have been unachievable. And that's probably why I never did it, because it was all or nothing. You either do it all right or you don't do it at all. And so I just didn't do it at all.
So talk to me about your food before the program and your food now.
So my food was carbs, more carbs, and then some more carbs. And just to top that off at the end of the day was some chocolate and some biscuits. Yeah. And I thought, you probably hear this a lot from a lot of women, but, I thought I was pretty healthy, and I was. I don't eat junk food. I don't go to fast food. We don't eat out. But really, I wasn't eating well, particularly given that I wasn't moving at all. Cutting back the gluten made a huge difference, which I knew, but I think, again, having the processes in place and doing the meal prep and the food plan and meal plan and food diary and all those kinds of things really helped make that happen. I was so scared of cutting gluten out, and I didn't actually want to. I didn't want to cut sugar out. I really struggled with that whole idea of changing my diet because I was so attached to food and emotionally invested association there, I suppose, with food and happiness. And, if you're happy, you have food. It's how you mark social occasions and special occasions. And I just associate food with good times and feeling good and happiness. And so in my head, I was like, well, I don't want to be somebody who doesn't eat nice food. When I think about how I was eating before, I was eating carbs for breakfast, carbs for lunch, carbs for dinner, and then sugar every night as well, to now not having carbs for breakfast maybe once a week. Some weeks I have carbs for lunch and sometimes I don't. I have a salad, but like an interesting, nice salad with like yummy things in it. And then sometimes I'll have carbs with dinner and sometimes I won't. So I've got other options now, whereas I think before I was like, well, it's not a meal unless it has carbs. I don't feel satiated unless there's a carb in it. Yeah. And so now that I have options where it is food that I like and I do feel satiated, then it's easy. I don't have to think about whether I have carbs in there or not.
Like your food diary, your food preparation, your meal planning. Like when you talk about that.
I can't believe that I'm doing it. Still, I love the idea. I've always loved the idea of meal prep. I think it's the organizer and the planner in me. I just froth over you watch those feeds and the videos of people doing it. I'm like, this is like mum porn. Like, I love this. And so I would do it for like, I don't know, a few weeks, a couple of weeks, a month maybe, if I was, when I was into those jar salads. Do you remember those? But I've never done it consistently. It's always just felt like too much effort, and I'd spend all of this time. Firstly, I'd spend a whole lot of time planning it, then going and buying all the stuff, and then you'd spend, a whole weekend making it or whatever. And you'd do that, maybe your motivation get you through a couple of weeks of it, and then you go, far out, it's a lot of work. Like, can I just buy a toasty at work? And so, just never did. And then now I do it every week. Sometimes it's fun.
You're so organized with it now. And I remember in that first week, I remember saying to you, what can you see your biggest challenge is going to be? You were like, the food prep. And then on the day of the food prep, I remember you messaging me and being like, this is taking so long. I'm so overwhelmed. I
was so upset. Yeah.
And you were hating it. And I was like, and when I remember at our first call, that's what we discussed. Like,
what
order did you put the...
Oh, yeah.
When did you put the oven on? When did you put the rice cooker on? When did we do that? Like, this is what we talked about.
I don't know.
And now you're like, I love it. You're on the group calls. You're like, well, this is how it's done. This is awesome.
So, I think probably what I've learned is being critical of myself all the time actually doesn't help me achieve my goals, works against me rather than motivating me.
Just hearing you say, like you realizing that through laying off and just saying it's okay, you're not there yet, this is part of the journey, you will get there. That's a huge personal learning.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling a bit emotional thinking about that, because it wasn't until I said it just now that's kind of come together for me, because nothing else changed. So it must have been that. We've spoken about this, that it wasn't really about weight loss for me at all. I really wanted to be mentally strong and physically strong. I'm doing stuff that there's no way. I couldn't do any weight bearing stuff on my shoulders before at all. So no push-ups, no planks, nothing above shoulder height. I couldn't push above my shoulders. So I couldn't do any of those types of shoulder strength or back strength or anything like that. Yeah, it's incredible what I can do now. And I haven't had to take pain medication. I actually don't remember. It's probably been a couple of months. It used to be if I did any kind of physical activity, like a workout or anything like that remotely did anything with my arms or my shoulders, I'd have headaches for the next kind of 2 to 3 days. So that's why I was so scared of doing it, because it would impact me out to go to work or make everything crappy. So I just really avoided it. Whereas I think because I've slowly built up that strength now, my neck's just been so much better. So even just saying that, I'm like, oh, I am actually stronger.
Thank you so much for your time today.
No worries. Thank you so much for changing my life.
I really love working with you, Myf.
Yeah, you too. You too. I'm going to miss it so much. Don't.
Yeah,
I will be sad.
Yeah.